Hi, everyone. My name is Amber Lyn. I'm a life coach. I'm an author and community director for Pathway to Hope. Pathway to Hope is an online supportive community for women I co-founded and Patrick Doyle founded. Speaking of Patrick Doyle, I have him today. He's a best-selling author, counselor, and expert in narcissism. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Patrick, what's the difference between, say, normal denial and narcissistic denial?
That's a great question, Amber. And one I hear a lot. So let's set a little scenario. There's a couple, and one of let's just say the man is a narcissist and the woman is not. Okay. And she comes in and she gets some help, and we're talking, and she's like, "Well, you say," and I do say this, that uh, denial is the thing that makes someone a narcissist. And then she's like, "And you're telling me I have denial about his behavior, so doesn't that make me a narcissist?"
Hmm.
Which is very devastating,
Confusing too.
confusing. So it's really a good question because we want to be really clear about the differences because there are massive differences between these two things.
Mhm.
So the denial of someone who's is a narcissist, their denial is about denying reality so that they can continue to perpetrate and to do harm and to destroy another person's soul. The person who's being harmed is using denial to not die.
Mhm.
Huge difference. And let me tell you something. I have not worked with a person yet who's surviving it that had they been in a relationship that wasn't dangerous and harmful would have denial.
Mhm.
So their denial is 100% secondary to the fact that they're in profound harm.
Mm.
Okay. So the narcissist who's rationalizing, minimizing, justifying, denying, spiritualizing, gaslighting, minimize, fill in the blank with all the techniques. Okay. The reason they're doing it is to never take responsibility. Okay. The denial of the person being harmed is like, well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, I know he's hurting too, and I'm just gonna be a good person. I'm gonna be the better. I'm gonna forgive. That denial is very different because that's about trying to make it continue to work for whatever reason. Okay, and
Would
that
you call that hopium too? False hope?
I do call that in my book Hopium. I have a whole chapter in there about that because it is a huge problem because none of us who are in abuse survive it without denial.
Got it.
It's part of the deal, which is why it's so important that we're talking about this because it's an important distinction to make. Your denial doesn't make you the narcissist, it makes you somebody who's trying not to die. There's a huge difference,
Mhm.
right? And so we all in use different kinds of techniques internally to try not to be overwhelmed by the circumstance we're in. So, for example, I'm a child, my dad's beating me and yelling these horrible things. What am I going to do? Be honest? No, my psyche can't handle that.
Well,
So,
not only that, but the honesty is dangerous in that kind of environment with someone like that, right?
correct, correct. So he's also saying if I cry, it gets worse. So I learned to suppress
Mhm.
all of everything. Okay. And that suppression, if it's not dealt with, leads to higher levels of denial. The reason why I don't have higher levels of denial at this point is because I started to look at the situation. I started to deal with the pain. I started to let the trauma surface. And subsequently, I was able to heal. So I don't need denial to survive it, which is very different because if you're in a relationship where you're being harmed every day, that makes it a very difficult and long process to come out of denial. I've seen some amazingly courageous women do it. They do
Mhm.
it. And I'm always amazed at how much courage they display to walk through that while they're being shot at. I often say it this way. They're doing a gold medal Olympic level gymnastics routine, but they're blindfolded and being shot at,
Mhm.
and they're nailing it.
Right.
So what would happen when we take the blindfold off and we stop shooting at them? How easy would their life be? If
Yeah.
they're doing it under that kind of duress, that says a lot about the courage, the strength, and the beauty of that person. So your denial to survive is not problematic. It's normal. The denial of the perpetrator to not take responsibility is damaging and will not stop being damaging as long as that denial is in place.
So
And
nar
I don't believe somebody can take it away from them.
So narcissistic denial is they are high levels harming themselves in that and harming other people. And then a normal denial is usually like a survival
Mhm.
mechanism
Yep.
and to
Mhm.
protect themselves from harm.
Correct.
And they can
Yep.
hurt themselves in that, but it's not like at that
Right.
epic level like a narcissistic denial.
And so the key point I would want to make is like if you have denial because you're in a harmful situation, that's secondary denial. If we took the harm away, it wouldn't exist.
And people in secondary denial oftentimes can come awake, like out of the denial, right?
They're always the one that does,
Yeah, but the
right?
narcissistic denial, they never, like capital N, never come out.
Right. Because think about the level of harm and darkness that has to be in your mind to do vicious things to the person that you say you love and act like nothing happened.
Mhm.
That level of denial is at a level that's there's something clicked. There's no coming back. And I wish I could say, oh, I know the secret formula. If we just do these things, then that person will come out of denial. I wish I knew that. I spent decades working in drug and alcohol treatment. I've confronted thousands of people in denial. And why one person goes, oh, I'm going to do something about this, and why the others just double down on denial and keep making it worse, I don't know the answer to that question, but I can see the difference.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you.
You bet.
If you found this helpful, we created a free resource for you in the description below. Feel free to check that out. And until next time, thank you.